Like most about Jacoby tonight?
I thought he was really locked in starting yesterday after Saturday's game and our film session and the boatload of mistakes we made at Arkansas. He came out yesterday and you could tell he was really locked into doing his part individually, more defensively than anything. And I thought today his defense is what got him really going. I thought he was really working hard on the defensive end. And then, we know that he can get it going like he did. Obviously, he was very effective in the middle ball screen, but it started in practice the day before.
How would you assess what Dwayne gave you guys tonight?
The more he plays, the better he's going to get. He worked at it, had a tough cover tonight, but I thought for the most part did a really good job, and he's starting to get more and more comfortable. And again, I think at one time today, one of the coaches, Coach Lance, tapped me and said, "You realize we've got 3 freshmen on the court, and in their second conference game, I think it really is a tribute to those guys because they've earned a right to be out there."
What about the front court as a whole tonight? You weren't too happy with them after Saturday. What did they do better tonight?
Well, on the whole, you look at tonight, what did we get in the paint? We did a good job, 44 points in the lane and to their 18. And Sean's team's guard, they do, and they did a really good job, I thought, early with physicality, not letting us get the deep posts up that we'd like to have. But I thought defensively, overall, for the most part, our post guys did what we asked them to do compared to what we didn't do Saturday.
Rick in the back. First off, voice sounds better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that I'm probably not going to get a great answer from you here, but to pass Coach Knight, a guy who I'm sure you've taken some things from throughout the years, just can you kind of reflect on passing or being mentioned in the same breath as him?
No, I can't because, to me, he's one of the greatest coaches. You know what's ironic? I just felt, or we felt, it's always we as a staff after Saturday, we didn't do anything individually in terms of guys doing their job. And when Coach Knight became the all-time winningest coach, I had a chance, and he and I got to be really good buddies, and I sent him a shotgun because he was really good friends with Ted Williams. And he used to tell me stories about Ted Williams, and Kirk Dowdy going hunting. And I remember reading where Ted Williams said one day that he walked down the street, people would look at him and say he's the best hitter ever. And so when Coach became the all-time winningest coach, I sent him a rifle, shotgun, and on the butt of it I put best coach ever. And we go out and play him that year. And every game that he coached, he had a 3x5 index card. He had offense, he put 5 things down, defense, 5 things, and some general thoughts. And he wrote the number of what game it was he was coaching, and if he won the game, he circled it. And without me knowing it, when I walked out on the court before our game in Lubbock, he his director of operations said, "Coach has something he wants to present to you before the game." And he motioned for me, and I met him at the scorer's table, and he was getting the mic, and the guy that was running the game for ESPN said, "Coach, you've got 30 seconds. He looked at that dude, he said, "I got all the time I want." And he took me out on the court in front of their fans, and he had this framed, and he presented it to me and said some nice things. And so last night, I didn't know this, I just brought it down last night. I said, if this coach can do this before the game, maybe I should make players do it. So tonight, you guys go back. I want what your job is on the defensive end, offensive end, and when you come in here tomorrow, the coach is going to look at it. We're going to see if you do what you wrote down. And it's ironic, it is, but that's the one. I don't keep a lot of things, but that's one thing I have kept because of the respect I have for him. And I could tell you some great stories when he stopped coaching. He called me one day and said, "You need to come out here and spend some time with me so I can teach you how to play offensive basketball." And I did. And this is one of my all-time favorite stories about him. He was wearing a baseball cap, and I never saw him wear a cap inside or a hat. And the next day we were going to this little gym, and he's got a couple guys, and he's walking me through his motion offense. And showing me what he likes, how he thinks it should be played, and Gerald Meyer, his AD, came in and said, "Ask Bob why he's wearing a cap." And so I asked him, and if you ask him a question like that, you're going to get a long, drawn-out answer, and I'm not going to give it all to you. But he said, 1971, I went out to get a haircut when I got the Indiana job, and it took me 3 hours to get back to my office. So I said, I'm never going to go get my hair cut again. So he said, since 1971, I've been cutting my own hair. And he said, I've tried to tell my sons and everybody they need to cut their own hair. The money I've saved. And I'm like, okay, but why are you wearing a cap? He said, well, I got home the other day, and my wife, for some reason, in all these years, decided to clean my clippers, and she forgot to put my guard on. And he said, for 40 years, I've been shaving my head. He took his cap off. He was bald. And I said, well, you did a nice job on it, you know. But I'm blessed to have a chance to really coach against him. I really, and I really, when I got into business, I tell everybody the two coaches I studied the most were he and Dean Smith. And I was blessed to have a chance at the end of my career to get to coach against him. And I will tell you, we do something in every game from one of those guys. We did it tonight. Ever since I've met him and played against him, I've always taken something from those guys. And again, we used it tonight.
Coach, you were talking about Dwayne, and he's getting better and better. Specifically, where is he getting better? And could he be your most consistent post player in a month from now, but in terms of what he can do offensively and defensively?
You know, that'll be – that's a great question, because you always think that the freshman maybe hit a wall late January, you know, because if you go back from the beginning, without question, Dwayne and Felix have put more time on the court than anybody. They this summer, with guys being hurt, they didn't get any reps off. And it was a blessing in disguise for both of those guys. You know, certainly for him to have to go up against Felix every day. But he's got a great basketball IQ. There's so much more there. And, you know, I've said before, we really excited about our freshman class. We think it's a great class. And we think we'd be playing them as much as we are 2 games in the SEC, probably not. But they earned it, and we'll do it. You know, we're going to play the guys, and what we're looking for is dependability. And I like to think that we get more guys there, but right now, he probably, with his having the least amount of experience, has probably been as consistent as any of these guys. You know, Felix is. Now, Fee's missed practice. He hasn't been able to practice. He's had a hip pointer. We haven't talked about it, and but he's not going to miss games. But we've had to rest him in practice or keep him out. He don't want to be out. But we need JP to get back at it the way he's capable of. Jalen, but to answer that question, I hope not. You know, I hope that it's not just one guy that we can count on. I hope we're in a position we can count on every single one of them.
Coach, of course, the defense helped set the tone today, but what would you take away, or what stands out most about the 12 steals on defense? Well,
we, again, discipline defensively, and just a total about face from following the scouting report this game as opposed to last. I mean, we were in the gaps, making plays, you know, going after the ball. Now, it's kind of too extreme. We had no hand activity at Arkansas. I mean, we weren't – no ball pressure, not enough deflections. And today, there was a lot of fouls, and I'm not saying they weren't fouls, but we were active with our hands. And so we got to get somewhere in between. But, you know, playing with active hands, deflections, gives you a chance to get out in the open court and going after the ball. And if you're going to go get it. Don't go halfway. And if you look at, I know some of those fouls tonight is when we went halfway and reached, as opposed to really just going to try to take it or get our hands out of the way.
Coach, you mentioned getting Troy, not regretting not getting Troy a look in the Arkansas game. Just what did you see from him tonight?
Again, he's earned it. We're going to do it. Now he took an ill-advised shot at that point in time. You know, we got a lead, and that's what I told our guys. I said, you guys do realize we got the lead, and we got to get everybody involved. And you know, and Troy can shoot, but that wasn't the right time for it. And he goes in the game, and again, the more he plays too, but he'll get a chance. He didn't do anything other than that shot, and But we'll keep playing him because he'll keep working at it.
I imagine you all would have loved to have Cade to defend Swain tonight, number 3. Just how did y'all adjust, I guess, to that stretch four, and what did your guys do so well to slow him down?
I thought Dwayne Brown did a really good job with his length. He can gap some of those guys, but Dwayne's got the longest reach on the team, and we're worried more about those stretch fours that can shoot it, and if he can get out there and guard pretty much anybody, and but the biggest thing we missed from Cade is shot blocking. With Fee, he and Kay were legitimate rim protectors, and we got to get JP doing it. Dwayne can do it in a different way. He's going to do it more with verticality, but we need JP doing it. Jalen too will have to do it with more verticality.
Jacoby said y'all's freshman class is the most mature one he's been around in his career. Would you agree with that assessment?
Well, we're happy with them, in terms they come to work. These guys are going, they haven't been through it, and we talked about that. I mean, we got a lot of guys that haven't played at this level against this competition, and as long as they work, and again, Ethan didn't play tonight. We'll see if he's going to fight back. Mo didn't play very much, and we felt those guys. We've given them a lot of time to do it, and we felt that we had to give Troy a chance. And Bishop's continuing to keep getting better and better. Amari still makes some big time plays when we need them, and we just I still think there will be games when we'll play all these guys, and we'll play them all every night if they prove they do their job. I don't have, because Jacoby got a little winded tonight, and Bishop got banged a little bit. But when Jacoby, we felt he was effective, and he was, for the most part, kept control of the game on the offensive end for us. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, thank you guys.